Raz, dwa. Okej. Dzień dobry, dzień dobry. Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Now we will be playing a league, but before that happens, a bit louder. I think I just should talk just louder. If I talk louder, or maybe now. Oh. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is good. Is good. Okay. So. Ocie sune.
Spjendrek holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Let's go. Let's go. Thank you, TSP Gendrek, for the follow. Fellow Spellstutter Sprite aficionado. Right. So, this will be later on YouTube. I've got a couple of questions to address because people have asked me them a lot, and I've got them written down here. But let's talk fairies. So, I top forward Paupergeddon, going 10-1 in this Swiss into double draw, and a 9-0 team trios. So, I did very well this weekend. And what do I think of the list? What do I think of the positioning of the deck and a ton of other things? So positioning, it's a deck. Plays fair, engages in combat. What I genuinely think is that it's really good into tapped lands meta, or like tap lands or turn to Ichor Wellsprings meta, because you have the time to actually do your thing. And my sideboard being converted mana cost to 1 is really good. So if people start playing mono whites, mono black controls, maybe it's going to be a bit worse, more difficult. But
Rast0R holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Cheers. The thing is that my most difficult match was when I was 9-1 and I was playing as Gardens. And it was like mono black splashing green basically. And they had a ton of basics, played very fast, very efficient, which was much more difficult for me.
Mitzig 420 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
They had like Defile, for example. So my turn 1 creature always died, which normally doesn't happen. I did win, so that's cool. It was much more difficult. So, 18 lands. Right. Could be 17, could be 19. I'll probably just maybe work on those numbers a little bit. 4 Brineburrow Intruder. Such a banger. I mean, it's unbelievable how good this card is. Let me actually open the preview card window. Yeah, and just place it like here, maybe. Make it bigger. So everyone knows what I'm talking about. Oh, let's go. Right. So, Brineburrow Intruder. Excellent to engage in combat. Definitely sets up off one mind, so that's key because it's a human. But it makes a creature much smaller, and especially great against mono red, where the creatures are like 1/1s or generally X1s. You can just very favorably trade in combat. But even against some other decks like Brute Scale, if they make a dump attack, you can maybe flash it in, make it smaller, double block, and still lose no creatures, so just a single creature. You can put the questions in chat, yeah, because it's like a big FAQ section. Fairy Miscreant, classic, fine. Fairy Seer, classic, fine. Snare Master Sprite, also called Wróżka Tapuszka, was cool. I played in the sideboard as well, but 4 is definitely too many. So these 2 are like on the chopping block, so I'll put them aside. 2 Spell Pierces, mid. I could see them being something different, but like having access to Spell Pierce might be just fine. So like Threshold, playability. Spell Stutter, excellent. Counterspell, classic. Snap, classic. Off One Mind, really good. Really good. Now, there have been games where I played for 3 mana, happens. but it's nice to have a non-combat way of gaining card advantage. 8 ninjas, again, 8 ninjas is a huge difference. And Moonsecret Hacker allowing you to go like turn 1 creature, turn 2, bam, replay the same creature, hold up like spell piece or like any of these post board is insane. Like Hacker post board is the real deal. And so I like my 70, like my 60 almost fully, except for these two. And we'll talk about what I would like here in a bit. Now this could also be like this maybe. But let's stick to the card I definitely want to change and keep this. Sideboard for Annul, which is Affinity Elemental Blast, but it's also great against Glee. Steel Sabotage, basically 5th Annul in my eyes. 4 Hydroblast and 2 Blue Blast, so that's 6 against Mono Red. Came in clutch. Double Dispel against Dispute decks mainly. And Bind the Monster against Chrysalis. Oh, you can't see that. Okay, against Chrysalis. Chrysalis decks and Terror decks. Blue doesn't have many good options for the sideboard. So if I decided randomly that, well, I can easily beat Affinity anyways, I'll cut 4 Annul and Steel Sabotage, I would have nothing better to put in, really.
Cyprian_Ludge holds my hand and passes the turn together.
I will talk about the toy card, no worries. That's on the list. Is it, Matt? I saw a photo of you playing in the tournament. Is it allowed to have islands in the front? Well, typically speaking, in practice, it's just that if nobody has nothing against it, it's fine. Like, if you piled up, nothing wrong with it. If you play lands to the side, nothing wrong with it. You know, so like, as long as everybody's fine with it, nobody minds, right? And nobody minded it. But I had like 2 opponents asking, can I switch? And I did. There was no big conversation because that's largely a small thing. Okay, let me address the chat first. Gvinted. Why 4 Snare Master? Personally, I prefer mutagenic growths. Why not them? Well, that's a weird comparison because that's not even a comparison. It shouldn't be compared. It's just like a different card. Well, 4 is too many. I've already said that. So I guess that answers the question. Why not mutagenic growth? Well, why mutagenic growth is my question. When my opponents play Snuff Out, doesn't do anything. I guess this could be like a pump spell where they block, but I don't want it to be like a weird removal spell. Also, drawing multiples is just bad. I'm not playing to push damage through. So maybe in a more red meta, I guess. I have not played with them, but I don't see a removal to play with them. But there is a league online by Kirblixi, a popular statistician of Pauper, and he played the league with mutagenics, and I will just give it a watch and see how it performs. I'm a little bit mad at you because you made Face popular now. Sorry. Genuinely, that was not my intention. Okay, quick story time, which I've told many times and I will tell many times. I played this deck by accident. My friend gave me a box. It was the wrong box. I opened it. There was Spellstarter Sprite, and I said, let's play Spellstarter in the trios. I don't care. And I did play, went 9-0, and instead of playing Affinity in the main event, I played this, and then was greatly rewarded. I played a single league before the event because I had no intention of actually playing this deck. It was not supposed to be compared. Yeah. Cyprian Łódź. According to the meta, why mono blue fairy instead of mono blue Terra? Well, again, that's a weird comparison. Because you're saying, well, why this blue deck instead of this blue deck? It's basically the same as why not a deck instead of a deck. But let me answer this question. So, the reason to be mono blue, in my eyes, is that, the other deck box was mono blue Terra, yes, because I was supposed to play blue Terra actually. The reason to be mono blue is to have very clean mana base, right? Magnificent, thanks for the follow.
Magnificent_ holds my hand and
Cheers.
passes the turn together.
The reason to play mono blue is not to play the tuplets that the format is rife with. right? Everybody plays Taplands, but you actually start on the very first turn. And it's exacerbated on the play because you go threat go, they go Tapland, and you go like ninja pass, and now they have to answer it. If they go Iker Wellspring, you just punish them hard. So why this? So this deck actually starts playing the game on the very first turn. Terra doesn't. It goes, okay, cantrip. Turn 2, I guess, cantrip. Okay, turn 3, Terra. Right? So it actually doesn't do the thing I want to do. It's just a different deck. Right? Also, get the feeling of getting cast down is just awful. Like, I know it's predictable, but also you get chumped a lot. You have to worry about Shaman Toxin. You have to worry about Graveyard Hate. And this deck just doesn't. Now, this deck has other weaknesses, admittedly. But does it matter in 3-3? It matters because it was unified. I mean, playing Mono Blue specifically, right? So, because guys played Jund Glee and Mono Red, I played Mono Blue, right? Thank you very much, Magnificent. Thank you very much. Will I play something? Yes, I will. But I want to focus on the FAQ section, let's say, because I've been asked a lot of questions. But the first, like, say, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes is the FAQ. So yeah, just keep the questions coming. But so Terra is much more reliant on something. So it starts the game actually on turn 3. It does nothing except for the Terra angle, worries about Graveyard Hate, which is not an issue because it does beat it. But I just don't want to engage in that type of game. Also, Pyroblast is much stronger because, again, relatively, your Terra is much more valuable than my Sprite because my whole deck does things while Terra just really cares about the Terra, if that makes sense. Like, it's just a bit too linear for me, I guess, is what I want to say. And if my opponent plays like spawns, just chump, right? Against Kuldotha, right? They go wider, and I have to go like really good. I don't know. I didn't enjoy Terra too much. I like not drawing people, but also when you get out of gas, it's just why 4 Sprite over, let's say, 4 Spikes Mutagenic Growth. So this question was asked already. The Master Sprite is here because I don't want to play 4. I played 4 Spike in the trios, but I cut them because 4 Spike is just bad. It just loses validity, loses viability very, very fast into the game. Thank you very much, Cyprian Łódź.
Stompy MTG holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Thank you for the follow, Stompy MTG. So, right. A couple more questions. Again, you keep them coming, but I'll read from my list. How did you decide on the sideboard? I think I've answered that already. Mono Blue doesn't have good options, so I play all the really good options. So the Blasts I can play, the anti-affinity cards I can play, or basically anti-artifact cards I can play, some dispels and some removal. There could be Relic, but I don't think I want a Relic, genuinely speaking. Do you have a written sideboard guide? I do not, because coming into the event... Okay, so if you go to mtgdecks.net, you will find my free guide on the deck, which is rather... I don't want to say surface level, but it's like a basic intro into the deck. But I had no intention of writing out like a proper, very detailed sideboard guide for myself because I didn't want to play the deck, actually. So I just vibed it throughout the event. But at some point, I just learned some things. I got into some, let's say, modus operandi. And I decided that, okay, in these matchups, I want to start doing this. And because matchups duplicated a lot, I just could repeat that. So, for example, I knew that, I really don't necessarily want Intruder against, I don't know, Giant Wildfires, but I don't really want Snare Master Sprite against Mono Red, let's say. Keepable hands range. And that's a good question. So, naturally, every hand that includes 1 or 2 lands, a 1-drop, and a ninja is going to be a keep, and the other cards don't really matter. That's clear. Right, what about everything in between? So the question is whether you know the matchup. If you don't know the matchup, you are a proactive deck. So I'd much rather have a hand like 2 lands, 2 Fairy Seer, I don't know, spell starter off 1 mind, then, again, let's say, couple of lands, spell pierce, double counter spell snap, right? Like, you want to do the thing. Also, by starting with a 1-drop, even without a ninja, you're putting yourself into a position that you could draw a ninja, which is important. And what about the 1-landers, right, within that scenario? So I tend to keep 1-landers only with a Fairy Seer, but if I do have a Fairy Seer, I do keep those 1-landers. Or maybe if I'm on the play, and I know I have a 1-drop into a 1-drop ninja. Now, this changes post-board, because if I know my opponent is likely to have a snuff out, then I wouldn't. But I think these are 2 main scenarios when I would keep a 1-lander. Thoughts on Nullify? Well, let me just double check what Nullify does. I think I remember. Counter target creature spell or aura spell. Well, why would this be better than, say, Essence Scatter? Well, I'd rather just play Essence Scatter, to be honest. Okay, it doesn't actually matter, because okay, never mind. Okay, so that's the same as Essence Scatter. So basically the question is, why wouldn't I play more counter spells for creatures? Well, that's reasonable. You could do that, and I think we might come to this conclusion later. But the issue for the deck sometimes is that things resolve. Because remember that if your plan is to always hold up mana on turn 2, you will lose. You have to sometimes establish a turn to ninja, let something resolve, then untap and then continue from that position. So I might not want to be that much onto more counter spells. And that's why I play 4 sprites to actually play to the board. Oh, I can see 2 questions about 1-landers and stuff. So yeah, so I answered those questions. If you have further questions to my answers, feel free, because I might not have explored the topic enough. Do you have an opinion about Echoing Truth? Yes, I do. Trash. I see 0 reason to play that card. Actual 0. You can list some examples, but from what I can think of, it's just awful. So I'll happily hear the reasons to play it. There was a question about, okay, so maybe metagame wise, there was a question why Blue Fairies and not Terra. But how would I compare with the playstyle? Actually, I talk about the playstyle. So I think this is a more tricksy deck, more like, you know, they play out completely different. Blue Terror is very linearly focused on milling the cards and then getting the terrors down and then beating you down with them. There is no alternative plan. You're predictable, but you're good at that thing. While this has a bit lower average card quality, because naturally a single Fairy Seer is just a limited average card. But the key is in the synergies and in approaching the matchups, in surprising the opponent, in making them play bad, in false tempo. Like, they play out completely different. And my best advice, genuinely best advice, is to play a league with both. And then you'll just see how they differently play out. And so the decision won't be, should I play Mono Blue Terror or Mono Blue Fairies? It's just, what deck do I even want to play? They're not even comparable, except for the fact that they play islands. Thank you for the raid, Barczek, and hello everyone from Barczek's stream. We're talking Blue Fae and celebrating my Paupergeddon Top 4 and Trios win. Right. So, there was another question. I think that might be a bit more on the topic, which is, I've been asked multiple times, why play Mono Blue Fairies and not Blue Red Fairies or Blue Black Fairies, right? So, they are completely different again. So I talked about this deck's strength being having access to untapped mana and just playing something every turn, no stumbling, right? If you play blue-black or blue-red, you just say that advantage disappears, it vanishes, right? Because you play Lorien Revealed, I don't know, Ash Barrens, and some Taplands. Now, we can try to mitigate that, lower the number of lands like that, but then you're risking not having the mana you want, right? Lorien Revealed as a card is great, but I think this advantage is just too big of a thing to pass up. Now, I'll probably explore blue-red and blue-black. Red having access to blasts and actual removal. Black having access to the Monarch, for example, although blue also does. And Snuff Out, crucially. But they are just different, right? Blue-black will play the Modern Age and Snacker. Blue-red will play Bolts and stuff. And actually, if you look at the deck, it'll be very different, right? You won't play Snap. You won't play probably Off One Mind. You probably won't play, Snare Master Sprite. Sometimes you even won't play ninjas in some versions, so just focus on the FAE angle. So these decks are just different. So you could compare them if you say, I would like to play a spell starter Sprite deck. But if you say, I want to play a ninja deck, I don't think either are viable, blue-red or blue-black. I would need to try them. But again, Pauper mana base is just the biggest hurdle to overcome. Don't listen to the bot because my mana traders code is a bit different. Let me copy this in chat. But if you'd like cheaper cards on MTGO, you can use this at Mana Traders. It also directly supports me. So from what you said, Cyprian Łódź, from what you said, why Terra has greater meta among Pauper decks? Well, I would say it's easier. I would say it's more like you know what you do. If you don't play well, you get punished hard. If you mulligan, you get punished a bit hard as well. If you walk into mass removal, I really don't want to say skill issue, but it kind of yeah. Also, it's very simple. It's like the reason why there's a lot of cool Dothar. Like you know what you're going to do. Mental note, thought scour, baba, whoop whoop, and go to town, right? And again, that's something that people do enjoy, and I won't take that away from them. And I'm not even saying that fairies are necessarily better, to be honest, than Terra per se. They're different. They're just literally different decks. Let me actually copy the link to my stream again. Hello. Let me copy the link to the stream and send it in a different place. Okay. Right. Going down the list of questions. Easy to play, hard to master. Every deck is hard to master, but it's definitely easy to play. Okay. How does Mono Blue play against Chrysalis decks? And how does it compare to Mono Blue Terra again? I've beaten numerous Chrysalis decks to get to where I finished, naturally. It was impossible to dodge them, and I play against like 7 Chrysalis decks, and I lost to 2 of them, or something like this. So the thing is that I think people are overvaluing the importance of Chrysalis. Like, it's a card, yes, but it costs 4 mana, so you can still counter that. I even sprited some Chrysalises. If it actually resolves, a single Chrysalis doesn't have to be an issue. If it's on curve, maybe you can snap and counter it on the way back. Happens. You can Snare Master Sprite it. You can bind it post board. If it's not on curve, you'll typically have a board wide enough that it actually doesn't matter. You just attack all. They block 1, take damage from the other 4 creatures. You do this a couple of times, they're dead. So it genuinely isn't that big of a deal. Now, it is a deal because it is annoying, naturally. It is. It's not that bad. So you could play, for example, Nullifies. You could play, I don't know, whatever counterspell of choice you'd like to play, or play more removal. But it's not game over. Especially if it's not on curve, and especially if people keep their hand solely on the back of Chrysalis. What cards do you... What cards do you... What cards do you want to have to keep a hand without a ninja? Oh, I very often keep hands without a ninja. Because you can't really afford to mulligan.
The _RK_Ray holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Thanks for the follow. So Ninja allows you a steady flow of cards, which is important to make up for the lower average mana value of your deck, and to reuse some effects. Now, I have kept numerous hands without ninjas, especially on post-board, when your answers are much more lined up. Because like remember that if you trade 1 for 1, for example, you play a creature, they play nothing, assuming that's the deal. You play more creatures, they play something of their own, let's say Ichor Wellspring. From this position, you go 1 for 1 or 2 times, and you can then ninja, and that's still fine. I wouldn't aggressively mulligan hands without ninjas, even 7s. Ninja is grey, it's the reason to play the deck, but I wouldn't aggressively mill to it. Especially as if you mull and miss, you rid yourself of a card, which is relevant in this deck, because again, average card quality is lower. Is there a reason to have 6 Hydro? Yes, it's grey. It's really grey. You just beat red decks. And mono red is really, really popular. You sided in against Affinity. A couple of them. Not all of them. A couple of them against Affinity, against Glee, against some random Ruby Storms, against Pyroblast decks in general. What do you think of Smoke Shroud? Well, I don't know what I think. Let me see what it does. Enchanted creature has +1/+1. When a ninja you control enters, you may return from guard to the battlefield attached. I think it's bad. If you look carefully in the top right corner, it costs 2 mana. That's 1 too many. That's 1 too many. Genuinely. Like, the curve of the deck is really restrictive. It's really restrictive. And I don't think it adds a lot. Because, like, again, what it does is give... I mean... Maybe as a fun-off, like, for example, in these slots. Maybe like a fun-off to try, but not more than that. And I'll probably typically cut it post-board, I can imagine. Because this is playing into your good draws of actually having the ninja. So I don't want to have another card that's otherwise useless and just works with that. Hey, Topiasz. This is my V60 drip coffee. Against Jan Christus, do you side all in? I definitely do not. Because there is no space to side all in. Because you're actually worried about maybe a couple of Pyroblasts, 1 or 2, maybe a couple of Breath Weapons and Munitions. But that's largely it, so I sideboard 0, maybe like 1, maybe 2 tops. But depends on the deck. If it's a Wildfire version...
Derek holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Thank you, Derek. If it's a Wildfire's version, I might sell it a bit more. You just have to adapt. You can sometimes even cycle it with Ninja. What can I cycle with Ninja? This? The Shroud? Like, if it's in my hand, can't do really anything. Yeah, if it had cycling, I'm not sure what you mean. I can't discard it. So the first time I play it, I actually have to play it. Which is very bad. Like, spending 2 mana to give something flying is just... I just can't imagine doing this. It's just bad, I think. Continuing down the list of questions. You can discard with Haka. Well, yeah, sure. Okay, sure. I guess. In a circumstance that I hacked, it survived, and I hit multiple times with it after that, I can discard it. Sure. Thank you very much, Derek. Okay, next question from chat. Oh, a question I got. You said that Pauper is pretty boring and games don't end. What do you think about that now? I changed my opinion pretty aggressively. I think Pauper is great. There's a lot of magic in it. And I think just coming from Modern, I was used to games being like very abruptly ending. So I brace Pauper for what it is, but knowing how sluggish some games are, this deck is great to combat them, but also change the dynamic within a game. Flying Ninja doesn't die to KCS. Yes, that's true. If my opponent keeps Shaman post board, good on them, I will happily win that match. I don't know if that question was answered. What do you think? Yes, everyone. Yeah, it's like a third time now, but I will say that again, no worries. Mutagenic growth. Okay, now, I will wait until someone poses a argument for mutagenic growth within the environment we are in. I don't think it makes sense. Maybe it made more sense in the past with Delver of Secrets, when we were much more aggressive, like actually aggressive. But this deck plays out... It's weird. It's like a tempo deck, but like you use your spare cards to sometimes chump to attack back. And like I've won multiple games where like I killed my opponent, but I was at 3 because you had to just split the difference and get the job done. Also, mutagenic costing 2 life every time is bad. Drawing multiple mutagenics is bad. Unreliable, I think was what I would say. Unreliable. Like against mono red, I might keep that in, but I can already imagine a situation where I block with Fairy Seer. I go, okay, mutagenic, and then I get blown out completely. I just don't want to put myself in those positions. Okay, unable to scream versus bind the monster. I've run out of my questions, so just keep them coming in chat. Bind the monster versus unable to scream. I played unable to scream in the trios. And that the fact that creature loses abilities is great, because you can play it preemptively on Brute Scale, for example. That's awesome. However, it retains all the counters it has, because it's still O2 base. So if the creature was, for example, whatever size, 2 counters, then it stays at 2/4, and it makes it impossible for me to attack on the ground. But that's basically the biggest issue I had with unable to scream. Not only does the opponent block, so they can block Brine Barrow, but they can also just chump a ninja attack, which is sometimes pretty costly, because I spent a card and I didn't get a new card back. While Bind the Monster has its own downside and upsides, because it taps the creature, so I have all the free attacks I want. It doesn't turn off abilities, so Brute Scale still works. It deals me damage, but that's not that important. And so both have their upsides. And I still have not decided which I prefer. I have to think about it. Whether I prefer clean attacks or whether I prefer turning off the creature. Now, I might play Unable purely because I expect more Brute Scale. Just that. But again, if I go Unable on Chrysalis and they go Respond, sack both spawns, resolves, then they've got a 2/4, which I'm never getting through on the ground, which is, again, annoying. Sleep to the Dead. I would love to play Sleep of the Dead. I think this card is insane, and I think that's one of the reasons to even play Blue Terra is insane. But not in this deck. You do not put cards into the graveyard. It's just bad. Freeze in place. Well, let me take a look. Now, with this effect, you really have to take a look at every single line of text there is. So, top target creature, 3 stun counters, scry 2. Well, if you carefully look at the top right corner of the card, you will see that's unplayable in this deck. Right. Any questions about cards that cost more than 1 mana are going to be scrutinized a bit more. Okay, arguments for growth. Free pump to creature out of early Galvanic. Not an issue. If you want to Galvanic my Fairy Miscreant, that's okay. Helps to close the game. It does that, but the question is whether it's an issue. Right? Like, you could list a lot of cards I could add and tell what they do, and it could still make sense, but it doesn't mean we need that. right? You could say play 2 negates main deck to counter munitions. It's like, fair enough. But negate is not the card I need. So it helps you close is not an argument because that's not an issue for the deck, really. And definitely not by such margins, right? Like a single 2-ball. Like it's not like this is not the big of a difference. If I just go, shock you, right? Shocking only face is just not an option. Dzień dobry, babciu, pozdrawiam. Zdrowie babci. Lotus Petal, funny, unplayable, but that's okay. Okay. No, I'll bite. Why is it not good? Because there is a reason why. So this deck doesn't really get bottlenecked on mana. Actually, that's the reason to play this. It has really good plays out the cards in a timely fashion. So the question is, if you play Lotus Petal, what does it add to your turns? For example, in Glee, it would jump you from turn 3 to 4, so you can play turn 3 Chrysalis. Now here, it doesn't really do anything. I don't want to play double 1-drop turn 1. That's not really what I need. On turn 2, maybe I can, go 1-drop and still hold up Spell Stutter for a card? Not something I really want. So, no. Right. Any more questions? Kind of philosophically. And while you're typing up the questions... Oh, Craftcore, thank you very much for the follow.
Craftcore_MTG holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Hello and welcome. Right. So I've got a couple more questions. What do you think about Bone Splitter? Well, I think it's bad. Right, so 2 reasons. First reason is that if you add the cost of the card to the equip cost, it's 2. That's a lot. Now, it unattaches from the things I ninja out. I don't like that. I don't want to have to pay 1 more again. That's... I think it just contradicts what I want to do. Now, I like it in abstract. It's nice to have every fairy hit for 3. That's a lot of damage. And I could even try that, to be honest. But for example, against mono red, power doesn't matter. Against post board in a lot of games, I don't think I could afford keeping that in because I've got much better, narrower tools. Why pick fairies instead of Terra? Right, okay, so you'll have to rewatch the video because I've talked about this at length already. Again, blue fairies versus blue Terra. I keep getting that question. What is the worst matchup for fairies? I would say mono white and red-green ramp are the worst, but I don't really expect to face mono white too much. Igor Feitosa 1, thank you for the follow.
Igor Feitosa 1 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Cheers. And I played Gruul once this weekend in trios, and I did win. So it's possible. If I really expected Gruul, I would probably play like Boomerang, but it's awful everywhere else, so I wouldn't play Boomerang. What's your cyber against Turbo Fog? I assume you're asking about blue-green, so I'll probably just go Dispels. And probably that's it. Maybe Trim Snaps. Oh, I mean, in this version, Snare Master Sprite. Just play your game, probably. Lindy, thanks for the follow.
Lindy_4HL holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Cheers. So, what I was thinking is to cut these sprites, and I will actually add double Dispel main deck with the number of Dispute decks, which is excellent against. It also matches up great against any removal, because all the removal is instant speed. I think that's solid. I also liked it when I played other decks. So I would try Dispel main. And then I really like Consistency. So what I might actually do is play a third Dispel here. And play another Bind the Monster. And now, my question is... Okay, for Science, let's just go 1 Bind to Unable. So you can just see how they play out. How differently they play out. Do you have staples in the deck which is not sideboarding? Okay, that's a good question. So, I never cut ninjas. I never cut spell starter. I never cut counterspell. I never cut Fairy Seer. I never cut Fairy Miscreant. So, I cut Intruder when combat is largely irrelevant, on me blocking especially. When I cut Intruder, I trim on off 1 mind, typically 1, 2, or 3 copies, depending on the matchup. I cut Snaps when there is nothing I want to snap on the opposing side. I never keep this in just to snap my own things. So, for example, Mono Red. I cut Sprite where the tap ability doesn't matter. So, Kuldotha, for example. I cut Spell Pierce when games go long. But sometimes I even keep that in then. So these would be... And then you take a function of what I said, and then you should have a proper idea how to sideboard. How do you side against Affinity? Well, I side in these 5 cards, then a Dispel, and then some number of Hydroblasts. So, for example, against Affinity, I would trim like 4 Snap, probably 4 Intruder. Let me think. Actually, no, because they are a refurbished Familiar deck, so I like to make it smaller in combat and make them lose the creature. So I might go like for Snap, double Sprite, let's say double Intruder, and then maybe like 1 off 1 mind because I cut this, that's 9, and then I go bam, bam, and then 3 blasts, for example, right? Easy peasy, isn't it? Okay, any other questions before we get into a league, which I'm not sure even if we're going to play through fully, because we've already been talking for an hour. Naturally, I will answer your questions when we're playing. But
Walker 735 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Thank you very much for the follow, Walker735. Are you that Walker75? I mean, I don't remember the number, but are you that Walker or not? I'm curious. And if that is the Walker, I actually played the finals against him in the trios, which was a very interesting match. Are you going to play Pauper on Paprikash? Yes, I will play the on Saturday. And because on Sunday I played the finals. Yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see you. I know I have 2 unables. Yes, I just want to have both, and we'll just see how they play out. I'm still undecided. I think at some point I will have to accept the downside of either and just go with it. There's a very rough sideboard guide already live at mtgdex.net. But that was written before the weekend. Now I think I might have a bit of different thoughts. Also, I changed the deck a little bit. I'm also considering starting a Patreon for Blue Fairies. So if someone is interested, you can let me know. And if I haven't... Oh, I'm 3-0 with Affinity in the league now. That's okay. That's okay. Let's go. So when we're playing, I want to think of a couple of things. 1, how many lands? 18 or 17? 2, these 4 cards. Spell Pierces and Dispels, how they play out. And removal. These are the 3 things I want to be looking at. But I like everything else. Everything else. To the dot. And so there are a lot of options actually here, because I could play like maybe like Enable Main, which I don't want to do, but I could. I like Dispels, in theory, so they should come in clutch-ish. I could play like, you know, main deck Nullify to have another counter spell. I could play maybe like, even hypothetically, cut these and just play for Ponder, right? Or Preordain or whatever, what have you. Or 2, just cut Spell Pieces, play 2, or cut Dispels, play 2. So there are numerous options there. Let me post the link in chat now. Let me post the link. There is the guide. Mastering Fairies. Again, it's a good intro piece. I don't remember how into detail I went. Again, it's pre-Paupergeddon. So writing this, I lacked that previous experience. Yeah, the sideboard, for example, is completely different from what I would play now. The main deck is largely the same. But for example, yeah, I wouldn't play Boomerang. Cogwork Wrestler is actually fine. I wouldn't play Relics. But yeah, it should largely work. Yeah. Let me just actually let's check. Sprite Snap Infiltrator. Good. Gruul Monsters. It's just a bad matchup, but yeah. Kuldotha. Yeah, but now I would side in differently. Because I would side in, for example, Dispel. Yeah, just a couple differences here and there. For example, I side in Annuls here, but then I realized I want Dispels in this matchup as well. Yeah. Double P. Okay, hi, good luck to the opponent. Right. So this is bad. And to be educational, go turn 1 Fairy, turn 2 nothing, turn 3 tap out. Not what I want to do. I will keep this hand, definitely. I want the draw, I have the Fairy Seer, I will keep. Now, what to bottom is the question. So, off 1 mine is great if the ninja survives, but if the ninja survives, I'm fine anyways. I might bottom another Fairy. I think I bottom this because it's raw power, least powerful card in the entire hand. Now, the league meta is a bit different. I might play against, for example, I'll top actually. I might play against like red-green more than I would play normally, which is bad for me. That's okay, we can just concede and move on. I'm fully just, if I play against mono-white or red-green, I'm probably dead, and that's alright. But I don't want to compromise my deck because of that, because then it will have worse other matchups, which I don't want, because I've got good other matchups. So, yes, Dispel main deck, yes. That's what I'm trying out now. Oh, something different. Oh, it's Ponza. Well, I think that's great for me, isn't it? Ponza is great. That's another upside to actually playing. I will pass with counter. It's the upside of playing untapped lands, because like the raw number of lands is one thing, but if your lands enter tapped, then you don't actually progress your plan. You just kind of stay alive. But I'm actually progressing my plan, and I will happily just trade resources because I've got a constant flow of resources. Like, sure, boop. Easy peasy. Maybe I would have played Fairy Seer pre-combat to have that Scriber. Do I need to hold up this spell? I don't think I do. Another land, another Fairy Seer. I will keep. I think I'll keep both with Fairy Seer on top, just to add more creatures to the board. Go wide. Now we do not have infinite counter spells, so at some point we need to Mole Drifter. That's a weird deck, but okay. I would like to see more of their deck. But yeah, we just got out of the gate so fast. We just start punishing them. I will put in the ninja. You could consider holding it off because of a potential spell starter sprite. I don't even have spell starter sprite. So. Okay, that's great. Play a land. And I guess, yeah, let's just try to find spell starter sprite. Oh, counter spell starter sprite. I'll keep counter spell on top. Because I want to play Fairy Seer next turn, I think. Yes, it is indeed Polish Mountain for that. Oliphant. What if I snap it? Because, well, I would have to counter it anyways on the way back. Okay, that's okay. I'll counter it. Now, I won't play this. I'll attack with everything. Opponent salting off. Yeah, let's. I think we can show that the opponent's salting off, right? Why not? Let's just take a look. And I will answer them just as I would normally. Yes. Right. So now what you want to do here is draw with ninja first. So you have a clean draw and then you cycle. So, boop. First clean draw. Then you cycle. Discard a land. They are 5. GP Radom winner twice. I'm a GP Radom winner thrice. Yeah, let's play Fairy Seer for the fans. Bottom the land, up the off one mind. Another good thing about fairies, or FAE ninjas, Ninja FAE, is that it's a deck that randomly wins a lot of matchups. Because, yeah, I know a lot of decks that say, well, I can't beat fairies. Kind of randomly. Boarding party. Yes. They party into Mole Drifter. Well, let's play the 4th one. And this resolves, yes. Quick question. Let's snap it. And attack for lethal. Quick question. Maybe they already asked, what do you think of Grixis Affinity with Spellspatter Sprite? And, right, so I think FAE Affinity is an awful idea. Don't do that at home. Okay, we cannot really sort by mana value or color. Just play Affinity or play Fairies. Don't mix and match. This doesn't work. What's the biggest weakness of Fairies? It's red-green ramp and mono-white. Would you advise to focus on playing against that deck or a mirror match? Well, when playing against Fairies, you just have to know what they can do and just play accordingly. Especially in combat, play carefully.
Thadk97 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Well, the reason isn't to expose yourself to Wrath and Artifact trade. It's rather your Affinity that has this sub-theme, but now, for example, instead of playing your own thing, which is good because your Affinity, your stuff is good, you just pass the turn with Spell Starter. Don't do that. Like, do your thing. And then, like, to enable Snacker, you have to actually, like play it and have it die. It's just awful. Just it doesn't work. Also, I don't like Snacker Spell Starter decks because Spell Starter, I mean, it typically counters 1s and 2s, but in this deck, it counters a 2 on turn 2, which is a huge difference. Also, picking it up is huge. Because, like, if your spell stutter is even a counter spell, if the 1/1 body is irrelevant, then it doesn't really matter if it was spell, counter spell, spell stutter, or force spike, Like with Snapcaster in Modern, if the 2/1 body is irrelevant, it's not card advantage. And same here. But here you pick this up, so the body does matter, right? But when you play, let's say, blue-black, and you actually play just Sprite plus Snacker, the body I don't think matters that much. Although there you play the Modern Age. But yeah, Fayfinity is just... So, what do we do? I think we play a couple of blasts, right? Maybe some removal. Okay, let's just quickly think of this. These spells don't sound great, and even if they sign mass removal, I've got the elemental blasts. Their creatures are pretty big, so I might need to snap them, but they like cascade, they like initiative, so I don't really want to counter, so I'd rather have the removal and trim on the snaps, probably. 1 second. As opponent's playing weird deck. And so this example of a hand I will keep, because I can sear into Hacker, so that's perfectly fine by me. Thanks a lot for the answers. Thank you very much. Again, if you have any questions, I will happily answer. Now, admittedly, I do not have years of experience like some people have. But you don't need years of experience. So.
Alabessa 1 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
So you don't know if BEP is good. Yes, neither do I. But you need to make a decision, right? Like, you can't say, oh, I don't know if it's good. Well, neither do I. Right? But we saw two things. Like, they played 4 payoffs. 2 of them are red, 2 are not. I don't know. Also, another question is, do you think the hedging with Hydroblast is better or worse than keeping, for example, Snap? And I think it's better. How big was plot armor? Very big. I'll do this because I want to keep up the removal, counter to the removal. Because they might hold up removal, which they clearly are
Nixib
not.
holds my hand and passes the turn together.
I'll play this because I think they might want to destroy my land. So I'll bottom this, top the land. But yeah, I was plot armored pretty hard. But I played well. Ask Sodek, ask Franek. They watched a ton of my matches. They could easily have sweepers in the board and stuff too. Beb seems like it could be fine. I agree. So again, being unsure is not a reason just yet, because again, you need to make a decision. Do I side it in or do I not? And sometimes your bet just doesn't pan out. You just side it out for the third game, right? But I'm working off of what I've seen, and because their deck doesn't really exist, well, I'm using my general knowledge. I could hold up both, and I think I'll just go to combat, see what they do. Also, because they play Drifter, for example, Drifter, I am relatively... I mean, I'm not unhappy to keep some intruders in. Maybe 4 is too much, but keep some intruders in to actually win in combat. They pass priority back, and I think I'm fine with that. You shouldn't rush ninjas too much. Like, I'm advantaged here. I'll ditch the worst card in my hand. That's okay. I'll just pass holding up double interaction. Like, I'm ahead here. Maybe next turn when the mana lines up a bit better, I'll do it. Yeah, so this, for example, is irrelevant. That resolves. My turn. Pilot well. Plot armor plus playing well. Yeah, I highly recommend playing well. So here, I think I'll just play a land. I'll do this pre-combat. and then ditch something that I've drawn from the hacker. And so at this point, like for example, them sweeping me is irrelevant. I'll ditch a ninja. Why? Because I don't think I have the space to deploy another ninja, especially if I'm getting land destroyed from time to time. So I could let that in to steal it back, but I don't have a proper way to hold it off forever. And my opponent Salt concedes. What do you think, chat? That was pretty clean, wasn't it? Also, chat, I tweeted today, and this is literally very true. World where this is common shifted. Give me Spectral Sailor. Just give me Spectral Sailor.
Yazoo96 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
His best friend of Cortez. Just give me Spectral Sailor, and it's just going to be insane. Absolutely insane. Also, I'm really happy that Chrysalis is like on the chopping block potentially, because I would benefit from it very much. But if you're going to take away one thing, it's for your sideboard to have one CMC converted mana cost, believe me. So this is an absolute sniper keeper. We go turn 1 creature. And then I'll actually see how this plays out. Because this could be turned to spell starter, this could be hacker replay. Okay. So what does this tell me? So they might be ramp. So I think I want to get the hacker on board pretty fast. Always yield, yes. Let me draw. Replay, and the next turn I will go. And next turn it plays out well because I've got Fairy hold up spell starter for 3 for the third turn. And they don't tend to have threatening turn 2s. So that's how you should think about it as well. I will also play my land and play Fairy Miscreant pre-combat to draw a card and then see what I ditch to the ninja. Although I wouldn't go land off one mind because again I don't have the 3 fairy count, which I want. Maybe I should not have played this pre-combat because I know I want to ditch a land from this position. So I could, but that wasn't really necessary. And now we're setting up turn 3 spell starter on the 3-drop. So this triggers, yes. What's key, chat, there would be, you could technically, now, after damage, hacker this back to replay it and draw a card. If that's something you'd fancy. What's the ideal land count? Currently, I'm at 18, and 18 served me well, but I wouldn't... You could go 1 either way, 17 or 18, I'll think about it.
H_S_Hawk holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Okay, so let me tell you what I'm thinking right now. I might want to ditch a land, but that's because I will be drawing a lot of cards. I might ditch one of those because I'm drawing a lot of cards anyways. I might ditch Intruder because the body shouldn't be really relevant. If I think the next turn is going to be spell starter untap, then off one mind should be easy. But then again, the games won't really be about cards. Okay, I'll hedge in the middle. I'll cut Intruder. Yeah, Ludrock's nice. You're ready to play fairies. Generous end, yep. Right. So let's do this. So that's not a good matchup. I don't expect to win this whole set. But I will try to. Again, I may have told you, but I beat... I counted, I think twice this weekend, counted Chrysalis with Spell Status Pry. Opponent doesn't block, so... I could Ninja the Ninja back, but I don't want to do it, because I have things to do. And just looting is fine from this position. These are dead. Now, you want to have a clean draw first, but I'm not sure how they stack. Or they stacked wrong. Do you ever Ninja the Ninja? Not here. I don't think I do that in this position.
Limtim11 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Right, so, further about my thought process. So, okay, I'm not sure if I'm saying obvious things or not, but I think this deck is really interesting, but you have to tread very lightly. So, from this position, this doesn't counter a 4, right? Counts as a 3. So if there's like a Chrysalis, it resolves. It's not the end of the world because it's what we talked about. You go wide. But I will play Off One Mind because I could draw an actual counter spell, which I don't, and I can pass back. Now, if Chrysalis comes down, that's obviously not great. I wish it wouldn't. Well, it might. But, okay, think of it differently. If my opponent doesn't Chrysalis, they're probably just dead. So, like, it's Chrysalis or bust. So, Chrysalis is good against us, but that's because they have to have it. Otherwise, they're probably dead. So, this is a Hydra X equals 3. Spriting is a rather ambitious suggestion because it wouldn't counter. So I won't. Unless they change the rules. But I doubt they did. But I can pick this back up anyways. Nah, that resolves. So it's a 3-4. Doesn't matter if I hold this in hand. Then the creature will still have 1 damage, so it still kills any of these. But I will flash this in as a creature. And just untap. Go to my turn. I will begin by Off One Minding. I thought it just says X no matter what you paid. Oh, that's really important then. That's really important. No. What they paid is key. So I can play a land, so now we're getting a bit flooded. But a bit, because we drew what? 4, 5, 6, like 7-ish lands. But we drew a third of the deck. So it's basically, you know, what's expected. So what will I do? Of course I will attack all. So the thing is that if you bring them low enough, you can throw away creatures. Like that's legal. You throw away creatures, a lot of decks don't have life gain, and you just one by one, just bring their life total down. For people new here, if you don't know me, you can check out my Twitter page, and the recording for it will be on my YouTube page. So let me just find it very quick. Bestow with Hydra is weird. If they bestow X equals 3, you can sprite it. Why would I? What? Why would I be able to? I don't think I would be able to. Let me think. So what I could do is go double ninja, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. They go to 2. And we just go wide. I think, well, the alternative is, for example, So holding a sprite for x3 probably is not enough. Okay, I'll just double ninja. I think I'll just double ninja. And basically from this position, you just need to get them, just go wide. That's your plan. Now this does have downsides. Of course, we clean draw first. Bam, bam, bam. We're left, we need to clean up. Double snap is great. I'll ditch Dispel or a land. These are 3. Probably Dispel is fine. Post bot, I would keep this probably, but. So because we brought them low enough, this might just be enough. Because you just go snap, snap, attack all. So here I'll probably just go snap, snap, attack all, and they're dead. See, chat, how easy it is? Easy peasy. You just play your cards and engage in combat and think how you play, and it's easy. Right. So because they showed me Hydra, I am much more likely to play Annuls. So probably Annul, bind the monster, unable, unable. Unable to scream, awful against Hydra. Bind, better. So let's say it's this 7. So this is how I sideboard typically. I put in, like, out of 15 cards, I take out the potential, and then I trim this down to certainly. By going to 0 for a league, just playing my cards. Well, you have to play them well. So, dispels are bad. I don't think I'll be engaging in combat too much. I'll keep this for early game, I think. Actually, no, because I signed Annuls. So I think I can cut these. And then actually cut just 2 Barine Burrow and a single off 1 mind. Let's do this. Annuls much better on the play because you can cleanly counter the Ram spell. I hope you're enjoying yourself, chat here. I'll keep this. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. Huh. So we can hold up Annul or just unable to scream this. Funny. Well, this is safer. I'll do this. For the fans. So this is the issue I was talking about. So if I have a ninja later, they can still cash this in with for a block, right? Okay, they found a tapland. So in this case, so you can just keep track of it. In this case, bind would be better because they actually have a blocker, which I prefer they didn't. So here I pass with this, but it's not a good position by any means. I think that was a keep, but like, you know, I don't want to be here keep. And it's already bad for us. Another annul. So I think I could sprite this. I could enable this.
Vivarilla93 holds my hand and passes the turn together.
I will enable this. So now they have 2 blockers, which they normally wouldn't. So now they can just champ my ninjas twice or thrice. Thank you, Viovirla, for the follow. Does the deck struggle to play from behind? Yes, it does. But it, in theory, shouldn't play from behind, because that's the whole idea, right? You have islands to play something immediately, you have creatures. So, like, you shouldn't play from behind, because that's not really the case. But it's easy to play from behind, for example, in certain matchups. For example, sometimes you just attack for two, but then you ninja into off one mind, and you get back. So it really depends. Do I want to play this to counter a 3-drop? I think I do, but if they had a 3-drop, they would have played it. But I think countering a 3 opens up our range much more. I think. So I'll do this. No. And now we're just banking on drawing a ninja. Well, they will take initiative. Yes, take they will. And then we will take this back. And then they will take this back. And then we will take this back. So now I wish I had this. Because trample is really annoying. Because this deck plays out in a way that eventually you champ your way out. Like you champ their attacks, but you still connect yours. Which is impossible against a trampler, naturally. Okay. I guess. So I'll attack with everything, because again, I'm not blocking. Might as well attack. And then we steal this. Let's always seal the stealing. Let's always seal to take the initiative. Let's always seal this. Let's find the land. And then go out of combat. And I think I'll deploy the land and pass. So we will go with the left. Yes, indeed, we'll go with the left. Now they attack. And that's okay. They steal this back. And that's okay-ish, right? Also, sorry there is no music, but I don't want to get any copyrights and stuff. If when I re-upload it to YouTube. Writhing Chrysalis. Well, I will double spell starter. I should not have let this resolve, because now they could breath weapon in response. So that was... I clicked a bit too fast. Boop. And this might punish me. Right. Okay. That's bad anyway, but that's bad either way. They have bolts, that's interesting. Yep. So let's play the next one. Any changes? Maybe cut the intruders. Actually, no, because I really want the 1-drop to have a ninja. I'll just resubmit. This is a mulligan. This is great for like turn 4 draw. Well, this is excellent. And I think I'll bottom one of the ninjas. Pop. I'll bottom both. I want relevant interaction and lands from this position. So this is one of the reasons why this deck is great. Because you can punish. You have these really, really powerful draws sometimes. Now, of course, the shields are down. If they play a 3-drop, then it's difficult. But again, that's okay. It happens. Hey, congrats on the top 4. I came to greet you before the day 2 matches. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was indeed very successful in the end. I think Smoke Shroud is an awful idea. Sorry. I talked about this, and you can rewatch the VOD, but I think it's an awful idea. Okay, we do draw a land. So we can go Pap, Fairy Seer, hold up Counterspell next turn, off one mind. It's a typical situation, land plus card advantage, and I think I'll keep both. So let's map out the turn. So they play something with Counterspell. Then we untap. So let's say we do it this way. We draw a land. Well, that's really not important. I can play Haka up and then draw the land from the Haka. So I will go to top, but this way. So, like, this is a bad matchup, right? But, like, this is winnable. So, you know, when your plan is so linear, card drawy, and interactive all at the same time, you know, it can only go so bad, right? Opponent's thinking. Actually, we've got 15 minutes on the clock. Fiery Cannonade, which I could... Well, do I snap? Nah. Now, it wouldn't be even the worst thing if it actually resolved. So that's another thing to remember. It's fine if things resolve. It's fine if they must removal you, if you pace your threats. For example, if they must removal me now, they will kill 2 creatures, which drew me a card each twice or something. You know, it's on the resource battle. It's not that important. So I'll play Fairy Seer. I will bottom this and keep Unable to Scream, I think. And pass the turn. Chrysalis. That's okay. So, I've got Unable to Scream on top, which is worse now. Right? Again, that's the thing. It's worse than Bind a Monster, because they get a chump. Let's draw 2 first. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Attack in. Yeah, so bind would be better here. If they crack both, because they are cracking both. Again, that's awkward. You know what I'm saying? Now I can pass priority. Go to attacks. So I don't have interaction for anything they do. Oh, it's just so bad. Nah, just... We're talking Chrysalis. Let's just do it properly. Okay. Because I can attack all. Okay, I'll attack all. Yep. I'll snap back my ninja. And then put this in. So now hopefully we can go like wide enough to make it annoying for them. I'll play Fairy Seer trigger, bottom, and I think I'll just draw. Well, I can just draw 2 next turn. I'll also probably have to just do this on this, which is just god awful. Okay, I'll just play off one mind. Another Chrysalis. That's okay. They add mana. They could cannonade now. They don't. Okay. So we just have to fly over them. Right. So the board position and it's not that important. But we have played just 1 counterspell, so we've got way more to draw. That's bad. Off one mind. Ninja. Now this has reach, so I still have to do this first. Always yield. And let's pay. Yes. Stun this. And attack in for 1. I think I'll just attack in for 1. And I will ninja back Sprite next turn. I think I have to do that. Well, and I'll play my creature. Holding back Miscreant is... So, like, in this position, you ask yourself, do I lose to a sweeper? And I think I lose anyways, because I've got nothing else. So, if I lose to a sweeper anyways, I'll just play as if it didn't exist. If I count, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Doesn't matter. I don't jump them to 6. I don't know. But it's possible, because they won't be able to play End. They won't be able to play Cascade. They won't be able to... Yeah, these are the main ones. Now, if they play Nyxborn Hydra now, that's annoying. Ooh, I think that's risky for them, actually. I actually think that's very risky for... Actually, it's really risky. So now, chat, we've got a game that they played Cannonade, Chrysalis. And we might still win this one, right? So, I'll attack for 3 in the air, which has to resolve, which has to go through. Then I'll ninja back this Sprite. See, I mean, no, what's the big deal? That's okay. Mass removal, Chrysalis. As we say in the business. This resolves, this triggers. This triggers. We'll get a land. Then we'll draw. What do you think of this game, chat? Oi. And we've got 5 mana, so we can go pop. Yep. Trigger, pay 2. Yes. Put a stun counter. Wróżka tapuszka. So again, you can say, well, you drew 2 lands, that's a lot. But, well, I saw like half the deck, so, yeah, maybe like, what, 2 lands-ish. Too many. But I will just take the damage. That's irrelevant. And because they introduced this sub-game, if I trap them, they're dead. Now, they could just have like a cascade, do something relevant, but I don't think that I can just counter that relevant thing. Is that relevant? It might, because I get 5 bold, they have 10 trample damage. Let's not risk it for the biscuit. So. Easy. Nice. Red green ramp. Fiery Cannonade. Double Chrysalis. Not an issue, chat. Not an issue. 10 lands. Not an issue. Play your thing. Play well. You're rewarded. That's actually it's really nice. I could just show you how this actually plays out, and it is indeed possible. And I did have those situations numerous times already. Face Marcainosa. I know I'm talking as if it was full. I don't think it will help because it will get fulls in a bit. But yeah, sure. You lose against White Weenie. Hi, good luck. We keep this hand. Okay. So, you could try to be cheeky with Brine Barrow Intruder. But this ensures you hit. So which decks would I rather lead with which? If it's mono red, I'd rather have this up. When wouldn't it be? if it's like a deck with like a 2/2 creature on turn 1, or like, well, Arbor Elf wouldn't block anyways. I think I can hold up Intruder. It also hides what I'm playing for the first couple of moments. I don't think we'll, again, play the full thing. But I think this might be like last match. We're already an hour and a half in. But I think people who want to play fairies will really benefit from this video. And make sure to share it with your friends. Okay, I guess that's one thing that's annoying. No? Okay, MTG Online lagged, but again, never click. I'm just wait until it loads. Hands off. Hands off. Exactly. Now it's back. So I can click, attack. See if they block. That's okay. So, if they play Wellspring, I'm not countering it anyways, I think. I'll just add 2 creatures to the battlefield. Holding up, like, again, you have to ask yourself, would you counter the thing they're going to play? Defile now on Fairy Miscreant. Sure. So this is one of those worse matchups, I would say. Because they've got efficient interaction. Yeah, I played against deck like this at the 9-1 table, which was really important. Oh, I didn't. I talked too much and I forgot to put the ninja in. That's okay. They will play Rats, Ichor Wellspring. So if I Sprite, they will kill it. That's okay. Because then the ninja will go through. But yeah, the ninja should already be on the battlefield. So this is exactly what I talked about, right? This is bad because they've got 1 mana interaction, which nobody in the format has, right? That's exactly the thing I talked about. Bam, bam. So that's how it works. Trigger. But now on the flip side, I'll play it. They spend 2 removal spells on non-ninjas. So now they have to have a 3rd removal spell. Which they do. Okay. So we don't have a steady flow of cards, which is, too bad. So we'll just play, attack, and pass. They're down to 13. They pass back. Yeah, let's play it carefully. I'll sprite it. 4th removal spell. That's okay. Trigger. It doesn't matter that your cards are bad if your opponent plays actual cards to get rid of those cards, right? Crypt Rats. No. Sheesh. Okay. Pa 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 pa.
Pedro_Leasers holds my hand and passes the turn together.
It's a difficult matchup. I think I'll pass and then play Sprite maybe next turn with the tap ability. They play Rats. Oh, that's okay. So this is, so I was told this is a good matchup for me. I don't think it is. Damage. Damage comes through. So I could snap this now. I could just wait. Because this is this kind of staring game. Like, they have to do something. And then they lose that rats. Yeah, come in. No worries. Deal 1 damage to everything. What? They tapped 2. These lands. Well, let's just say I would have played differently. Ugh. Yikes. And even Modo froze for a moment. Double bottom. I'll play a creature. Again, I just want to have creatures on the battlefield. I'll just pass. Remember, they're at 7. So them... Blade. Okay. Them, using the rats is not costless. Let's draw cards. Okay. Attack you for 1. Just do your thing. Just do your thing. No worries. Again, the game is on for as long as it's on. 5 mana, transform. Okay. That offsets... oh, gosh. Well, dla fanów. Actually, because I'm in this position, I will snap this back to have a redraw. I mean, to have like a... Yeah. Rewarded. Okay. And how do you not love this deck? Like, you're actually playing until the very end, but you can still win when that end comes. Like, I'm just doing my thing, playing cards, playing carefully, cautiously.
Israel Tell holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Brazil. Why are you saying Brazil? It's the second person that said Brazil. Brazil what? I'm not from Brazil, nor do I know what you're referring to. I'll play this, I think. Off 1 mind. I'll go double top. Just pass back. Opponent attacks me. I'll just take the 6. Like, they're the ones at 4, so... Oh, Pauper, yeah, mono blue, let's go. So, this is the game that they played. Defile, cast down, crypt rats, spinning darkness, right? And I mean, I'm ahead. Oh, you think so? That's very nice. That's very nice. Do you know if people in Brazil would be interested in a Blue Fairies Patreon to kind of like, after my top 4, I would like to share my knowledge with others. Hunter resolves. Create a treasure. Yes. Cryptrats. No, it's okay. It's okay. See, chat? What's the problem? What's the problem? You just win the game. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? Nice. Defile, cast down, Cryptrats, Spinning Darkness. Okay. That was satisfying. And this is the reason I'll keep playing this deck. Oh, your currency sucks. So how much is a lot for you? Like, honest question. Like, for example, $10 is a lot or not? How does it work? Because, like, for example, Luffy sells his guide for like 18 tickets, which is just, like $20 almost. So because of Cryptra, okay, this is better against Cryptrats. I'll do this, and for Annul because they're a Ichor Wellspring deck and a Tithing Blade deck. And I think Sprite is actually just bad. What? I'm not sure if you're joking, so you have to be, So when you say $1 is 6 Reyes, what can you buy with 6 Reyes? Just to give me a comparison, like when it comes to food, for example. Alcat Intruders, MV1 Snap. I cannot believe we won that game. If you're watching this on YouTube, and if you've watched this far, you can definitely tell me something. I don't know. Defile as. Also, I'm really happy that everyone is here, came here. I mean, if you're losing to that draw, I think your deck is kind of cringe. One Akai Cup. What is one Akai Cup? What's a weird reference? I mean, weird for me, specifically me, because I don't know, I'm European. I don't eat Akai. So Akai is like a bowl of. Well, I would say that's cheap. Wait. So you can buy. Oh, right, that's the point. It's cheap, I guess. I don't know. I'm having trouble thinking right now. Oh, so for example, for $10, like a Patreon, you could buy like 10 different bowls of food, right? That's the. Come on, Moja. Come on. Well, yeah, I think this deck is. I mean, if you're losing that game, I think this deck is cringe. I'll go bottom top. Now, in the best case scenario, I will ninja that out. Okay, they're not even allowing me to. Okay. So I'll probably just flash this in. Even if they don't do anything, I'll just flash this in. But I assume it will eat a removal spell. But that's okay. Things lose to removal. Yep. Double snap is not the best. So what we do? We just draw 2. Just play your cards. Maybe so many snaps is a bit too many because I left 3 in. I mean, with this. I'll pass. Because I cannot allow them to get initiative. Because then I will surely lose. Also, question to the Brazilians watching: how can I reach you if I wanted to? Have you got like a group, like a Brazilian group, or you use the Pauper MTG, the one I talked about my win at? Was that enough to reach you, or I'll just draw 2 here. Just take my time. They've got 3 cards. I've got way more cards than they do. I'll just pass again. So these games play out differently, but if you're prepared, you know. So I could enable this now, but I think I want them to keep being scared, and I'll just do this when I draw a something. Lol. Okay. Oh, boss. Okay, we'll keep passing back. That's okay. Keep passing back. We just consume a lot of content from anywhere available. Try to use the Brazilian representant pro. Oh, okay. Cool. I'll pass back again, I think. So you do or you don't use the Facebook Pauper MTG group? That's my question. Okay. Here, enable seems better. Yes, here, enable is much better. Yes. So, as you can see, it just literally depends on what you're playing against. But I expect to play against Chrysalis much more. So I think this is better. For as long as Chrysalis is illegal, this might just be better. Or splitting it. But then you're just off sometimes this way or that way. So now I just pass. So as you can see, this game was played completely differently, right? They traded their best removal spells, very efficient removal spells, for just creatures. That's okay. Then we drew 4 cards with Off One Mind. They're just making land drops, and then we'll just go spell starter with counter, with double snap up, try to ninja them out. Yeah, and game continues. Now, we admittedly did draw a ton of lands, but again, that's not a reason to complain. We just have to adapt to what's happening, right? And this is what's happening. I'm not rushing. I'm not, pulling the trigger on anything. Now they'll just attack me for 2, and I'll take it. We're up a game. Now we're down on clock because I'm interacting with you. Okay, just looking at your playstyle, I used to play too aggressively. Okay, okay, yeah, so that's interesting because like I cannot really say, like I have no comparison. I know how I play, and I would say that I play, well, depends on the situation. I think that's the difficult part of the deck. You just have to play, whatever the situation demands, right? So sometimes you play aggressively, sometimes you play slowly, and that's why it's again a challenging deck. I will play this land. Still, I think, because I don't expect this to hit, and I want to switch this out. No, my opponent didn't kill the spell starter, so that's interesting. What does it tell me? Okay, they have a Tithing Blade. Well, I'll snap this back. And the blade resolves. So, no, from opponent's perspective, I might have all counter magic. Like, they'd never know. And so we're in the same position. I'll just flash this in. Okay. 10 lands. Okay, maybe I won't play the 11th. Let's just say that. Okay. Poop. Mystical Dispute. That's okay. I'll let it resolve. Because on the cards front, yes, I'd rather they didn't. But I have a single counter spell, so I have to use it very well. Right? That's the idea. I have to use it very well. Like, only on something that I really have to. And so, if I had more, sure, but I don't. Let's play Fairy Miscreant and pass the turn. Hold the island in your hand because, again, the 11th doesn't change much. Now they can map on this and make this very hard to attack through. But I have Snap to reuse the ninjas. That's also where I love disputes, because I can dispute these cards. Yeah, sure. And they hit Fanatical Offering. That's bad for me. Badish for me. They're at 16, pretty high life total, but again, the game has been going for quite some time, and I haven't been putting pressure. But remember, I've got all the gas still in the deck. So now they drown in sorrow. So I'll do what I would have done anyways, which is bounce the ninja. I wanted to do this anyways. Great opportunity. I will spell stutter the card draw. So this counters. This goes back. Bam, bam. And I'll snap back spell stutter. That's an important turn, definitely. Now they do this. I counter that. This resolves. Bam, bam. Then this resolves. I am 2-0 and up a game here. Yeah, maybe I just should play this deck. I just don't lose. It's also so interesting to play. Okay, flush this in. Let's play. Well, I'm doing what I can, but sometimes it doesn't work. Yes. That's good. I'll hold them. That's 12 lands. You know, that's most. That's six left in the 34. But again, that's okay. I don't like complaining about flood, because if you have no control over something, why would you complain? Mystical Dispute, Dispel, Insta Dispel. Dispels main. Maybe even 4 Dispels main. For like true fans. Okay, I'll flash this in because I want to get the ninja going. Ocie sooner. Okay. So I won't attack with this. I'll attack with this. Oh, I love this deck so much. Yes. Annul. Pass. So now I'll attack with both on the ground. He blocks one. They block one, and I'll ninja out the unblocked one. I might even not do that, to be honest, because this is irrelevant. I might just loot them away. Yeah, I guess. And not give them the info I have this. So 5 mana, Avenging Hana. Okay. That's okay, opponent. I'm surprised they didn't side this out. Aren't you, chat? Like, why would you? Oh, ho, 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 ho. And they know I have spell stutter, so they're definitely going all in on that. But I appreciate the fact that they can always steal this back, and they think they can win overall this mini game. Right. Okay, fair enough. So now I lose because I've got 13 lands. That's okay. Cool game anyways. I'll try to re-upload the VOD from this as soon as possible. Okay. But again, clearly it's the most difficult match. Yeah, cheers, bye. I'll keep this. I think if I make land drops, I'm fine. Yikes, double bottom.
Frost Strike holds my hand and passes the turn together.
Oh, cheers, soon.
Rudy_Jacek holds my hand and
Rudy.
passes the turn together.
No to problemy. Okay, we'll lose this one. That's okay. Okay. No, I mean, it lacked, in my opinion, it lacked only lands, not relevant spells. Because they would kill anything on site. If I just go pass, something, draw 2, draw 2. It's fine. Again, I might have to clean up, so I'll just play this. They do. Yeah, sure. Well, because I wasn't hitting land drops. Yes. But my argument was... No. I mean, hardcast. Just divination. Se skontruję. To się nie sklinapuje. Yeah, that I mean, again, if... Oh, Boże. If this was top 8 winning in, no, I wouldn't keep this. But, interestingly, that's not a top 8 winning in. Oh, nieźle.
Nitu Alcara holds my hand and passes the turn together.
No to już jest niezła zabawa. That's okay. Okay, let's play one more. Okay, let's just maybe we'll just finish up the league then. Because if I play one more, then I'll probably play the last. let's just finish up the league and play a bit more. Well, let me take a look at the meta. Let's take a look at like most played cards or something. Because what if I played Dispel's main or even more Dispel's main? Popular. Pop. Click. Come on. Now, admittedly, I'm a huge fan of Dispel. So, I might be a little biased there. Maybe 4 Dispel main would be a bit too much. Ugh, come on. Patient. We're still waiting for the match, right? Okay. Now, the strength of Spell Pierce is that it counters like Ichor Wellspring. That's great. But the spell counters all the disputes and all the removal. Okay. What? I definitely didn't lose my internet, right? Because you can still... I'm still alive, aren't I? I'm still perfectly live, right? So just Modo decided to like, nope. Okay. I guess. Let's boot this up. And in the meantime, I'll try to find the Pauper staples. The sign doesn't want to load. Okay. We might cut the stream short if there are such issues. Debescura. Wait. I need to... Oh. Magic Online is currently offline for scheduled maintenance or otherwise unavailable. This concludes the stream then. Well, I will re-upload this to YouTube. I'll post it on some Discords so you can rewatch this. I hope it has been fruitful and educational. And you see that fairies are very much a contender and very much a proper deck if you play it well. Well, then, if you have any more questions, just leave them somewhere. I don't know, on Twitter, maybe YouTube, Discord. And with that, I will thank you very much, and I'll ask you to hold my hand and pass it in together. And I will see you next time. Cheers.